So in this next part of slope application, we're going to be talking about how to find rate of change, which is another term for slope, with a given table. So we have this table here where in the left column it's hour, 7 a.m., 10 a.m. Now this is in a 24-hour interval, so 14 is another number for 2 a.m. So in the right column we have miles at 52 for the 7, 232 for the 10, and 382 for the 14. Now here we have a word question. It says find rate of change between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. and miles per hour. So we'll be working in our unit where it's going to be miles on the top over hour. So it's basically asking you to change in miles over the change in hour. That is basically the same thing as slope, change in y over change in x. So we're going to do the change in y first. According to our time, it asks you 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. This too. So we're going to use the latest first, so 10 a.m. So with my 10 a.m., the change in miles is 232. So I'm going to write 232 first. And then my 7 a.m. will come second. So with the 7, 52 miles, that's going to come second. So I'm going to minus 52. And then my change in x, change in x. So again, 10 a.m. came first, so I'm going to put 10 first, minus, and then 7 a.m. And then always check if you have the order correctly. So my 10 with the 232 came first on top and bottom, and my 7 with the 52 came second on top and bottom. So the order is good. Now we're just going to simplify the top and bottom. So 232 minus 52, that would be 180. 10 minus 7, that would be 3. And then we can actually simplify this fraction because 180 can be divided by 3. So my change in y over change in x, that's a symbol for rate of change. 180 divided by 3 is 60. And my units was miles per hour, or you might seen it before, mph, so 60 miles per hour. So that would be my final answer for rate of change. Based on this given word problem. Now in this example, we're still using the same table, but now the word problem is phrased differently. It says find rate of change between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and miles per hour. So I'm going to underline 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. And it's still asking you for the same unit as the previous example, but the only difference is that with the 10 a.m. we have it here, but it says 2 p.m. No, 2 p.m. we don't see it. But here, it basically is going to align with the 14 because on the 24-hour interval, it's going to count up to 24. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on up to 24. So it's like the military time. So when they say 1400, that means it's 2 p.m. when they're talking about at a 12-hour interval. If it says 1500, that means it's 3 p.m. Or if they say 1300, that means 1 o'clock p.m. So we're just going to tie into basically the 24-hour interval or military time. So 2 p.m. is the same meaning as 14. So we're going to be looking for the change in these two. So we're still working with miles per hour. And as the same, change in y over change in x. So what I didn't do in the last part is that I labeled this as my y and this as my x, just like how we did for finding slope with two given points. So we're going to put the latest time first. So my 2 p.m., which is 14. So for the y value, I'm going to put 382 first. And then when we're working with change in y, it's going to be subtract. And then my 10 a.m. comes second. So at 10 a.m., the miles is at 232. Alright, for my change in x, again, 2 p.m. will come first. So that means I'm going to put 14. I'm not going to put 2. I'm going to put 14 from the table. And then what comes last is 10 a.m. So I'm going to put 10. Alright, so my change in y over my change in x, that's my rate of change. We're going to do 382 minus 232. So 382 minus 232, that's going to be 150 over 14 minus 10, which is 4. So I can't divide 150 by 4, which into a whole number. So it's going to stay as a fraction. Don't worry about converting to a decimal. Just leave it as a fraction unless you are asked to convert into a decimal. So I repeat, leave it as a fraction unless you are asked to convert into a decimal. Now, you always check if you can simplify this fraction. In this case, you can. 150 and 4 are both even numbers, so they can both be divided by 2. So 150 divided by 2 is 75. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And again, 75 cannot be divided by 2 into a whole number. So we're just going to leave it like that. So my rate of change, delta y over delta x, is 75 over 2 miles per hour. But since you're used to the term that we use mostly mph, or miles per hour, you could write it like that. But to be safe, you just write it like this, miles per hour, and this would be your final answer.